Chapter 7. At the Guildhall. All the richest and greatest men of the city of London sat at the long tables in the Guildhall. As Tom came into the hall, everyone stood up. He took his place at the top table. They sat down. The banquet began. Servants brought in rich foods and set them on the tables. There was a great deal of talk and laughter. Singers came in and sang, and a company of dancers danced for them. Edward at last reached the Guildhall. Soldiers were standing at the door, but he cried, "I am the Prince Edward! Open the door and let me pass!" The soldiers laughed at him. "Do as I order, at once!" "Don't be a fool," said one of the soldiers. "Stand back!" But Edward went on shouting at the soldiers. The people in the crowd began to be angry. "Send the boy away, he's mad," they said. "We want to see the prince come out when the banquet is ended. Go away, boy, go home." "I won't go. I tell you, I am a Prince Edward. I have no friends and no one to help me, but what I say is true." The crowd began to look dangerous, but Edward won't move. Then a man stopped out and stood by Edward's side. "I don't know whether you are the prince or not. I don't care whether you are mad or not, but you are a brave boy, and I'll help you." The man's name was Miles Hendon. He had just come back from the war and was on his way to his house in the country. The crowd moved nearer. In those days, a London crowd could be very dangerous. "Stand back!" cried Miles. The people were now very angry. Miles had to draw his sword. He hit a man with the side of it. "Kill them!" cried a voice from the back of the crowd. Stones were thrown. A stone hit Edward and he fell. Miles stood over him and fought to keep him safe from the feet of the angry crowd. But there seemed to be little hope. There were so many and Miles was only one. Miles laughed as he fought. "Who would have thought that I would live through 7 years of war in France and then be killed by a crowd in London?" There was the sound of horsemen, and a voice cried, "Way, way for the king's first lord!" The horsemen drove the crowd away, and their leader went into the Guildhall. Lord Hertford walked up the hall to the place where Tom sat. Then he went down on his knees. "Sir, your father, the king, is dead." Then he stood up and cried out to the people, "King Henry is dead! Long live King Edward!" And all the people in the hall shouted, "Long live our king!" Miles didn't wait. He quickly led Edward away in the darkness.